earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, Since thou art laid down, no fella is come up against us. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious.
Because the Lord is going to restore everything. You're going to have a total different vibration on the earth, a total different smell. You're not going to be walking down the street and smell shit and piss, and no foul odors or nothing like that, because the lungs of the earth are going to be given back to it, which is all these trees and all of these flowers, and it's going to be a whole total different vibration. You're going to see the aura and how things are going to change and how elevated things are going to be. Our senses are going to be heightened, Everything about us is going to be glorified.
For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But be glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old. But the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build, and another inhabit. They shall not plant, and another eat. Whereas the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring with them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith the Lord.
The Lord said that on the Heavenly Father's right hand there are pleasures evermore. And it says that I have not seen, neither ear heard the things which the Lord hath prepared for them that wait for him. There's a whole another world of greatness that awaits us when the kingdom of heaven is established. It's not seen in this society. In this society, we only see carnal things that reason offers in this society. But when the kingdom is established, the Lord is going to open us up to a whole nother world, of pleasure, of knowledge, of wisdom, understanding, can't even be put into words, because our imagination only goes but so far.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word in the truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who may came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right. And what I want to get into today with this morning news and prophecy, what you have, all right, is, we said they would do with this whole peace deal, so-called peace deal with Hamas and Gaza, all right, that they was going to make this thing a big deal. As if, Trump was pulling off just some epic peace in the earth. Okay. So we're going to show you what they're really up to. Okay. Because as we know that these devils can't be trusted. All right. And these nations know that these devils can't be trusted. And we're reaching a point to where these nations are tired of these fake peace deals. Okay, dealing with America, in the West, mainly America and these small hats. Okay. So just as we've said in this through the spirit, that they gonna push this major campaign. It's just Trump has just pulled off this epic peace deal. And you have the minds of the simple thinking that war is de-escalating, but it's the exact opposite. Because as we follow these things, it's nowhere near. Because what they're talking about with Hamas, that's light work. Okay, the real play is with Iran. We're going to get into that. Okay, this whole deal with Hamas and Gaza and the hostages, and they don't give a damn about no goddamn hostages, man. Okay, these are the people that made everybody take the juice. Okay, a death potion. Esau has turned the earth into a death camp. Okay, so they don't give a damn about no goddamn hostages, man. Okay, them hostages been there for 3 goddamn years, man. They might as well get a change of address, man. Okay, so let's go get some precepts. All right, and then I got 2 videos I want to get into. In the second one, that's the play. That's what we looking for. All right, those that are in the light. So let's get this here in the book of let's come back to Luke. Okay, but let's get that in First Thessalonians 5. All right, well, you're gonna see this come out a lot, because it's happening. So hey, when things happening, you're gonna see. All right, these precepts come out pertaining to what's happening, man. See, we're prophets, man. We're not entertainers. You know, it says the day of the Lord is First Thessalonians 5:1. It says, but of the times and seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. Okay, because we know what season we are. We know what time we are. We're in the time of war. Okay, so that peace shit is irrelevant. They hopping up and talking peace, and you got little celebrations going on, man. No, that ain't the season we in. We're not in the season for peace, man. We're in the season for war. We're in the season for the return of Yahushua. Okay, and the end of the wicked. All right, verse 2 said, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. All right, for when, all right, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child. All right, and they shall not escape. Okay, so we in the time, all right, of sudden destruction. Okay, so the scripture let us know and put us on game that there will be a cry of peace and safety before their sudden destruction. So we're seeing this cry of peace and safety. Okay, but the scriptures say that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. That's unexpectedly, man. Okay, and it's unexpected to those that are not in the light. Okay, because when does a thief strike? When you least suspect it. Okay, when you're not aware. You see, and these people are unaware of the times that we're in. You see, so they'll hear peace and safety from these politicians and get lax and get chill, and then boom, it's on. Okay, and it's just like a woman, like travail upon a woman with child, because those birth pains come out of nowhere. The water breaks anywhere, like you can't time it. It just happens. Boom, and you there, you in it now. You see, and that's how it's going to be with prophecy, man, leading up to this third world war. Okay, and Yahushua, he constantly, gives the analogy of him, all right, coming as a thief. Revelation 16:15, it says, behold, I come as a thief. You see that? Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and see thy shame. All right, and they see his shame. Okay, so blessed is he that watcheth, because the Lord raised us up to be watchmen. He put the spirit on us for his men to be watchmen. Okay, that's a duty, that's an office, man. And this office is more important than anything we got going on in the world. Okay, and it says, and keeping his garments, which is his conduct, is you know, which is based on faith, because we keep, you know, we're constantly growing in Yahweh based off faith. You know, this is our life now. This is who we are, based off faith. And we're watching these prophecies come to pass. You know, we begin to continue to what? To conform unto Yahweh, to put on the elect. Okay, which is a mindset, which is a way to be. Okay, as we watch. All right, and a lot of men that fell out is because, all right, they wasn't occupied with watching. They wasn't in tune to what the Spirit was doing. Okay, so that's why you go here to the book of Luke, chapter 12. Okay, we have to stay engaged. You know, this is Luke 12 and 37 says, "Blessed are those servants whom when the Lord, all right, whom the Lord when He cometh shall find watching." Man, the Lord wants us on our watch, watching for Him, because we watch these prophecies, watching for Him, preparing ourselves, all right, for Him. You see, it said, "Verily I say unto you, that He shall gird Himself, all right, and make them sit down to meat, and will come down and serve them," which that's a high honor, you know, for the Lord of a house, you know, to serve His servants. Well, that's a high honor. Okay, that's the highest honor a servant can have, to be served by their Lord. Okay, and it just shows that symbolic talk of us being highly honored at the return of Yahweh Shai, man. Those that remain on their watch, man. Okay, not talking about no farm in Texas and you got a business, I got it. Damn that. Okay, we got what we got. Okay, but that ain't the play. All right, we're watching for Yahweh Shai. That's the play. Okay, it says, "And if he shall come in the second watch, or come in the third watch, and find them, so blessed are those servants. And this know, that if the good man of the house had not known what hour the thief will come, he would have watched, and had not suffered his house to be broken through." Okay, so the thief always comes unexpectedly. Okay, but if you've been tipped off, all right, which the Spirit has tipped us off, okay, of the build up to the coming of Yahweh Shai, but to these people it's going to be like a thief. Okay, because their mind is not synced, all right, with prophecy, man. All right, so I got some videos I want to get into real quick. All right, but like we said, you know, they're going to push this campaign as if Trump is just, you know, this great peacemaking president. You know, you're gonna hear a lot of people kissing his ass, and you know Trump gonna kiss his own ass. Okay, it's not much room for other people, but let's go here, and then we're gonna go to the play of what we really at. All right, so let's play this a little bit, a few minutes of this, and then we'll segue to the next video. Mm.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Hamas has released the remaining 20 living Israeli hostages who've been held in Gaza for the past 2 years. Red Cross vehicles carried the captives from Gaza to Israel. Hamas is also in the process of handing over the bodies of 28 Israeli captives who've been confirmed dead. In exchange, Israel is releasing nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, many of whom had been held without charge. This all comes as part of the first phase of a U.S.-backed 20-point plan. Earlier today, President Trump addressed the Israeli Knesset.
Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East.
A group of leftist Israeli lawmakers briefly interrupted Trump's address by waving a sign calling him to recognize Palestine. Trump heads next to Sharm el-Sheikh, where he and the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi will co-host what's being described as a peace summit. Leaders and officials from 27 countries are scheduled to attend. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was invited. First, it was believed he was going, but now it's believed he will not be attending. Celebrations have been held across Israel today as hostages held in Gaza reunite with their families.
I waited for this day so much. 2 years we've been waiting for the hostages to come back home, for the war to stop, for the soldiers to come back home. This is a historic day. This is a happy day. They're coming home.
Meanwhile, Israeli officials have threatened to arrest Palestinians in the occupied West Bank if they celebrate the release of Palestinian prisoners held in Israel. Since the ceasefire began on Friday, tens of thousands of Palestinians have streamed back into northern Gaza to find their old neighborhoods reduced to ruin.
Yeah, so it goes into, but you see they're making this big thing of peace, peace summit, celebrations, and this and that. All right, this is nothing. Okay, and then nigga, the Palestinians talking about they coming home surprised to see that their homes are in rubble. Nigga, they've been bombing for 3 years. Okay, ain't no way you surprised. Nigga, what the hell? What can you come back to? Okay, of course they let you come back. Okay, so you got Palestinians talking about, oh, damn, where my house at, nigga? You what house? Okay, tripping. All right, so let's play this a little bit, man. I thought, I heard this. I said, y'all surprised that it's rubble?
Drone footage shows vast areas of northern Gaza where every structure has been destroyed or heavily damaged. In recent days, Palestinians have retrieved more than 295 bodies that have been trapped under the rubble from Israeli attacks. Mahmoud Abu Amira is a Gaza City resident who returned to find.
Look at this, man. The hell you going back to? Okay. Why would you even make that goddamn walk? What the hell are you going back to? Okay. But yeah, that's the point. I'm gonna put this in the link. Y'all want to watch the rest of it. Oh boy. So let's play this goddamn Amalek. Oh boy. So let's go from there. Now let's get to the play. All right. Because look at his rubble. Okay, yeah, y'all can go back. Go back to what? Okay. Yeah, we'll do a peace deal. Peace for what? Okay. Now let's go back here. All right. Now, before I play it, this is Colonel Wilkerson. So you have certain go-to guys that I go to for news dealing with the war. All right, and geopolitics, dealing with what's happening, a more boots on the ground perspective, not that generic BS, Western media, they're super biased towards the small hats in America. Okay. I really deal with sources, men that have had their own boots on the ground and have, actual, sources that are still active and knowing what's happening in real time. All right. Not that Western propaganda like Israel, these small hats are just kicking ass and, never taking, not being scratched. Nah, man. Okay. So I got this guy here, Douglas McGregor. Now he's an ex U.S. Army colonel. All right, so you hear this, you see me go into this guy, Douglas McGregor. He has a lot of good info, good perspective, so I usually go to this guy. Let's say Douglas Abbott McGregor. He used to be Secretary of State under Colin Powell. So he OG. He was around there during the Colin Powell era. All right. During the time of Desert Storm and all right, the Iraq War. Okay. And he become very critical, the US and how they move, you know. So this guy here, Douglas, all right, McGregor, Colonel McGregor, you'll see him. This guy here, um, my other go-to, Larry Johnson, Larry C. Johnson, you know. All right, now Larry C. Johnson, he's an ex-CIA, so he knows a lot of insight and he has sources, okay, and boots on the ground as well. All right, so you get a more authentic, story of what's going on and what these nations, all right, are capable of doing. Which Larry Wilkerson, he finna go in. We watch him, but so Larry C. Johnson is another one. He's ex-CIA, all right, and he's a founder of this group. It says he's a co-owner, CEO of Business Exposure Reduction Group, all right, and co-founder of Veteran Intelligence Professional for Sanity. So it says the VIPS is a group of former officers of the United States intelligence community formed in January 2003. In February 2003, the group issued a statement accusing the Bush administration of misrepresenting U.S. national intelligence information and order. All right, so he's been a critic, okay, of American politics and foreign policy, for over 21 years. So you have this group called the VIPs, Veterans Intelligent Professionals for Sanity. All right, which this guy here is also a part of that group as well. When you go here to Lawrence, okay, let me see what we at. Oh my God, go. So you got this guy. Hold on, where he at? Thought I had him pulled up. Let me see. Might gotta go back. Yeah. All right. So you got this guy, Larry Wilkerson. This is who we finna watch. All right. So he's a retired United States Army colonel and former chief and staff. Okay. And he was around during that Colin Powell. All right. So he was the one that was during Colin Powell. Okay. He says, since the end of his military career, Wilkerson has criticized many aspects of the Iraq War, including his own preparation of Powell's presentation to the United Nations Security Councils, and that's where you get the whole thing of weapons of mass destruction, and that's when that was brought up, so they go back to that, era. Okay. So, between Lawrence Wilkerson, Larry C. Johnson, and Douglas McGregor, is mainly where I give my analysis, dealing with what's happening, with these different conflicts and wars. Now, and it's easy, for brothers that's into it. Let me just show you real quick. You brothers can just kind of tap in, and start looking at things, on your own. If you see something, you send it to me. Interesting. You got questions about, anything, send it. We can tap in. Well, yeah, you just go here and you can just just click Lawrence Wilkerson, dealing with Israel, and you'll just see, just look at the time, make sure it's recent, but you just pop up all the interviews, and also Judge Napolitano, Judge Napolitano, which he interviews all three of those guys, which that's the judge, that was breaking down, the different laws that I did in that video the other day, dealing with, Posse Comitatus and the Insurrection Act. But that's the judge. So Judge Napolitano, Judge Napolitano, all right, which is Judge and Freedom is his channel. But he interviewed Wilkerson, McGregor, and Larry C. Johnson on his channels, so Judge and Freedom, is a good channel. All right, well you'll see all those guys, but yeah, you just type in their names and videos will pop up. You know, like Conor McGregor, Colonel McGregor. You see, so you just see lazy videos. You know, Gaza sideshow, Iran, the main event. You know, so so forth and so on. All right, and you look up Larry C. Johnson. You know, the same thing. But that's usually what I tap into. You know, so just putting it out there for brothers. Let me since I'm here, put the links in so you brothers can tap in on your own time. And this guy, I'm gonna show you. I got one more I want to show you. So this guy, Danny Hampon, I'm saying the name right. Danny Hawthorne. Okay, so this guy, he interviews a lot. You know, he has a lot of good info. You know, and Scott really he okay too, but he's a super Edomite, so he'll be on point. But then Edomite take over and he'll go left. But he gives good info from time to time. You know, but this guy Danny Harpon, which I just drop a link. It's my guy here. But yeah, when dealing with the war, listening to Western media, they have you looking crazy as hell. You'll just be repeating propaganda and be off as hell. You know, so yeah, when it comes to war, it's better get a more boots on the ground, all right, perspective, all right, than some Edomite woman, all right, who just finished, her Dunkin' Donuts reading a prompter about what's going on. She don't know what the hell going on. All right. So let's go here. All right. So while they're doing this peace parade, this is what's really formulating on the ground. All right. This is what we're seeing. This is what we can get ready to see. All right, because the play is Iran. So they're gonna go into it. All right. I'll say this Colonel Wilkerson. Okay. And they're gonna go into it. And this is a good video too. Cause we're gonna play a little bit of this one. But it's a good watch because you got a few more. And Richard Wolff is good too. Richard Wolff is good. He's more of a analytical economist. This guy Richard Wolff. Richard Wolff is on this video as well. So it's good to watch this whole video. If brothers get a chance, you introduce to Richard Wolff and you kind of, add him to the mix. So where we at? Yeah, so let's play this.
They're moving aerial tankers from Europe, from the United States to Europe, then from Europe to Qatar, and the same
just like they did before the last attack.
Yeah. What is that? Do you think? How close are we to the war between the two?
Bibi, you probably know this. Bibi went back to Israel, and after telling Donald Trump that everything was copacetic with the ceasefire deal and the ultimate end of the war in Gaza, went back in Hebrew and told everybody no such thing. The war is going on. The IDF's going to kill them all. We're going to finish the war. So that duplicitous lying sack of proverbial horse turd is doing it again. Why? Because he knows what's coming. He knows what's coming. He's not going to have to talk to Donald Trump. He's not going to have to apologize. He's not going to have to get out on bended knee. He wouldn't anyway. He kept his coalition together, which he probably wouldn't have done had he come back and said what he said to Trump about agreeing. And he knows he's going to war with Iran. And he knows the United States is going to follow him. That's going to obviate. That's going to cancel everything he said or promised to Trump. So he doesn't care. We are going to war, Nima. We're going to war with Iran again.
You going to war with Iran, Nima. You see? So that shit that BB signed with Trump is BS, man. Okay, they're preparing to go to war with Iran and they're gonna drag America into it. Okay. Thus said the Lord. The least of the flock shall draw them out. Okay, so this whole peace parade and the celebrations and the photo ops of the hostages getting out the Sprinter van, and, okay, it's all right. Smoke. Okay, they're preparing. They're making all the military moves that they made before. All right, the the first 12-day war with Iran. Okay, which was in June. You see? Nah, they preparing for war, man. All right, war was in his heart.
Hey, Alicia Little here, and I'm excited to announce that the 3rd annual AI and Marketing Summit is here. This is
Well, first of all, and overriding everything else, is preservation of Bibi Netanyahu's coalition and Bibi Netanyahu, period, his power and his position. That's the first objective. The second objective is to keep the United States from causing him to have to do something he doesn't want to do with respect to Gaza, Syria, Lebanon, and elsewhere, I fear. I'm hearing from contacts in Baghdad, for example, that they're getting ready to go to war as well. I'm hearing that Egypt might be on the warpath also. I'm hearing that remnants of the forces in Lebanon, which mostly are Hezbollah, are ready to go. I'm hearing there are elements elsewhere in the region that might enter the fray with air power. Think Saudi Arabia, think Qatar, for example. So, and I'm also
So this time this war between the small hats and Iran might activate more players in their region. Okay. You have to understand, since June the 25th, that was the end of the 12-day war. Okay. So you had August, September, okay, October. We're in October, so almost 3 months, 2.5 months, give or take. And Russia and China have been pouring in military hardware to Iran. Okay, and you best believe Iran has been funneling, hardware in Iraq. They're resisting groups in Iraq and to Hezbollah. Okay, so we can be looking at more players being activated. Okay, when this war breaks out between these small hats in Iran, and you can feel it, man. Everybody's gearing up for it in their region. Okay, so this whole Hamas, that's a daycare. That's done. You look at him, look at Gaza. Ain't no goddamn Gaza, man. Okay, that shit done. All right, now they on to something else. Okay, and this is when things are gonna escalate to another level. Okay, so let's let this play some more.
hearing, and this is very disturbing, and I don't know exactly how to take it, but I'm hearing from people who met with other Iranians in New York, not only that they have changed the fatwa from one that bans nuclear weapons to one that bans the use of nuclear weapons, which sort of clears the way for them to go ahead and build one if they haven't already. And I'm also hearing that they're not going.
And he's talking about Iran. So this, what you call it, the fatwa was, Islam and forbid them to build, a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon. Okay, but now they changed it from not being allowed to build it to not being allowed to use it. So they're moving the goalposts. Okay, and you best believe, that Putin. Okay, because see, Putin, he's facing war with the whole NATO and the EU and America. So he needs strong allies, and you best believe, okay, Iran is strapped down, all right, with some of them bangers over there. Okay, they ain't not no sitting duck. They got too many big enemies. Okay, not to have it. Okay, and see, people gonna find out the hard way. All right, what they call it, FAFO. Okay, a lot of people finna find out the hard way. Okay, about Iran's nuclear doctrine. Okay, so let's keep playing.
To just attack Israel. They're going to attack other assets in the region. And that's the way it was put to me. And I asked the question, do you mean Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait? What? No, I mean U.S. facilities in those countries. So they're going to attack the U.S. outright. Yes. Is that meant to be a deterrent? Is it meant to be a bluff? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they've had it, if they're fed up with this, and if Israel does commence the war again in a serious way, that it's all over for Israel. Plus, they will do the damage that they can to the United States facilities in the region. And they could do a lot of damage, a hell of a lot of damage.
So now he's saying that he's been hearing rumors that, look, of them small hats attack Iran not only gonna hit the small hats heavy, but they gonna go directly at U.S. assets in their region, which there's so many bases that's within the range of Iran's missiles, and they have no defense. They're sitting ducks. Okay, so just as the scriptures say, the least of the flock shall draw them out, because Iran know that Israel, all right, these small hats, all right, the Israelis, all right, these goddamn imposters, okay, Amalek, all right. Well, Iran knows that the small hats in America are a package deal. So you can't just go to war with the small hats. You're gonna have to go to war with both. And that's what they're preparing to do. Okay. So this time, this go around, things can escalate to a hell of a level, man. Okay, it can be a lot of them American flags coming back to the States. A lot of boxes being sent back to America, man. Okay, so hey, we can see another phase of war. Not saying that it's gonna go nuclear, okay, but we can see another phase to this war, just as we see, you know, troops, okay, in Jake neighborhoods. There wasn't troops in Jake neighborhoods last year. Okay, just as we see a major cut in food stamps and government assistance, where those things wasn't going on this time last year. Okay, well, same thing with this war. Hey, we can see American troops coming back in boxes. Okay, this thing can go to another phase. All right, and just like he said, they tired of playing with the West, man. Okay, these nations are tired of playing with the goddamn whore. Okay, so we'll see. We're gonna keep following these things, man. Hey, Lord willing, you know, but they speculating within weeks, you know, something could happen. All right, but hey, Lord willing, you know.
That they could sink an aircraft carrier if it were in range of one of their high velocity missiles, or a spread of those missiles, is, I would say, 60 to 70% a possibility. And then we're off to the races, Nima. I mean, we're off to a regional war. One wonders what Russia and China will do if this starts in that flagrant, overwhelming way. What will they do?
So what's this story of a peace plan? What is he trying to get by the peace plan? Is that some sort of cover for what they're doing
The one
I-
BB allegedly signed up to. Well, I think that's ultimately Tony Blair. That's essentially Tony Blair running some sort of consortium that will make Gaza, into the thing Trump wants to make it into, a huge enterprise that will make money and so forth and so on. And maybe it has a patina of a potential for a dual state eventually in order to satisfy the members of the Abrahams Accord and get them back into it. I don't think it's going to work. And I know it's not going to work with what Bibi went back and said in Hebrew, which was, I didn't mean any of that. We are going to continue this war. We're going to continue it until Hamas is exterminated. The hostages be damned. He didn't say that, but that's essentially what was implied. And I know I'm safe, at least for the interim, because I'm going to war with Iran, and the United States will have no choice but to come in with me.
He said the United States will have no choice but to come in with him. Because thus said the Lord. If a brother, I see brother got to come in boy loaded, we'll get some of these things. But let's get that Proverbs 21 and 1, and let's get that Jeremiah. All right. Is it 49 and 20, the least of the flock? Because it says America has no choice but to help. And the Lord got this set up. America has no choice but to get involved, man. All right, but to get dragged into this war, all right, and America gonna get drugged. Okay, they're gonna get drugged over there in their region, and then the missiles gonna come back to the land of America and turn into a desert, man. It's finna go bad for America, man. All right, you goddamn proud as Americans, assholes. Okay, and see, the nigga woman, all right, with no food stamps is gonna be the least of her problem soon. Okay. That's gonna be the least of your problem. All right, the EBT card don't work. Okay, your HUD voucher is ran out. Okay, or niggas, the ICE, in these niggas communities. Well, that's gonna be the least of your problems. The way things are trending. Okay, it's the brother GMS. All right, DC ties the document 144K. It says Proverbs 21 and 1. It said the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Okay, as the rivers of water, he turns it whithersoever he will. Yeah, and you look at these niggas like BB, Benjamin Netanyahu, man, this nigga locked in on war. This nigga don't want nothing else. Okay, this nigga, he bomb a new country every month. Okay, this nigga is tapped in. The Lord just got the spirit on this nigga for war. You look at Putin. Putin be having the same stoic, serious look, man. The Lord got the kings of the earth on wartime. All right, and then you look at America as a goddamn clown show, man. All right, the orange ass president. You see, you got Pete Hegseth. All right, a clown. Stephen Miller, clown. Okay, a circus, man. But these nations, okay, are dead goddamn serious, man. Okay. You look at China. You seen their military parade China had, man, locked in. Okay. North Korea locked in. Everybody locked in. You see? But then you get to America and it's a goddamn circus, man. It's a Saturday Night Live skit. Okay, president tweeting. Okay. So let's get this. This the brother the truth shall prevail 144. It said Jeremiah 49:20 said, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he have purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. All right, so we're seeing the purpose that the Lord has against Edom play out. Okay, and these devils are in the snare. It's a trap. Esau ambition is trapping him to where he got to go with this move, man. And this is end. Okay, but he's locked in. Just as if you want to know what it was like for Pharaoh to look at Pharaoh's heart harden, you're looking at it through Esau. Okay, this is a terrible idea what he's doing. Everything he's doing is a terrible idea. Okay, the way he's trying to pull off the C hip, the CBDC, central bank digital currency, terrible idea. Okay, he's trying to go to war with all these nations, terrible idea. He wants to go to war with Yahweh Shai, the worst of the ideas. But he's hardened. Okay, and we're seeing the purpose, the counsel of the Lord playing out, man. And this devil is playing right into the trick bag that the Lord got for him, man. It said, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord, back in Jeremiah 49:20, that he have taken against Edom, and his purpose that he have purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock, okay, shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them, okay, which America troops are gonna, all right, be drawn, okay, into their region of the Middle East, what they call the Middle East, and get obliterated. And then, all right, their habitation, which is America, is gonna be turned to a desert. Okay, this is what we seeing happening, man. Let's go here, man. Brother got this. It's the brother GMSDC Tazadak Da. All right, Yara 144K. It's Psalms 55:23. It says, "But thou, O power, shalt bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee," man. Okay, and these devils are coming to the end of their rulership. Okay, and it's going to be through great destruction, which is this war. Okay, so let's let this play some more. I want to fast forward. Okay.
Larry, maybe I'm so much.
And Nima just ain't getting it. Nima ain't getting it, goddamn. He trying to figure it out. Like, so what's this peace talk about? All right, ain't no peace talk, man. You know, Nima still trying to ask about this peace and why we going to war. Like, nigga, hey, buckle up, Nima.
I'm so much pessimist about what Donald Trump is doing, but it seems to me that Donald Trump has came out by this sort of plan. He has come out, but by this plan because of Netanyahu's position in Israel, because those people who are putting a lot of pressure on Netanyahu and his administration about the hostages.
Right.
And they're trying to tell those people, so we are trying to do everything. Look at Donald Trump. He put out a peace plan. They're not going to sign for it.
No.
We have to continue the conflict. You know, they're somehow legitimizing what Netanyahu is doing in.
I think Netanyahu wrote the hostages off a long time ago. I really do. I don't.
Yeah, nigga don't care about no hostages, man. All right, so I'm gonna fast forward real quick. All right, and Lawrence Wilkerson, because he asked Nima, like, nigga, what would you do? You know, so Lawrence Wilkerson, he says what he would do. All right, if Iran, okay, struck, I mean, if the small had strike Iran. So Lawrence Wilkerson goes into what he would do, okay, if he was a general in Iran, okay.
My heart's fine.
I'm only 40. Ignoring your heart health risk is no way to go through.
Dangerous, everything in each and every way. I see it's the conflict. It's so dangerous if they go to a full-out war against Iran.
Nima, if I were in charge of the military power of Iran right now, and this is I'm not Persian, I can't crawl into their heads, but if I were as a military professional in charge, I would unleash my entire capability minus what I thought I needed in case the United States did come in a big way, because I don't think they need all that to take care of Israel. And I would devastate Israel. I'd do it in. I'd just completely do it in. And I think it could happen in 48 hours. And then I would just announce, you want to fight United States? I've got a lot left, but I don't want to fight you. When Israel was burning and falling apart and collapsing, and God forbid that they should use a nuclear weapon in that scenario, but that's a different ballgame altogether. Then I would say to the United States, let's stop. We've gotten rid of the people we wanted to get rid of. You can go in and help them fix themselves, but I don't think you're going to be very fortunate in that regard because we really destroyed them. If you want to fight further, we will, but we'd prefer not to. That's how I'd do it. I'd wipe Israel out, just wipe them out. And 48 hours, 96 hours is all it would take, maybe even less than that. And then after that fait accompli is visible to the United States, put it out there. We don't want to fight you. We don't want to fight you, but we will if we have to.
So, Colonel Wilkerson, said if he was head of Iran's military powers, that he would just obliterate the small hats. Okay. And that's the same sentiment. I don't know if y'all remember Larry Johnson. All right. He said that he hopes that the small hats attack Iran again because he knows they gonna get their ass beat, man. All right. See, everybody wants to see these small hats, okay, get that business, man, get that work. Everybody want to see it. The people that's really following this, okay, these different military that understand the wickedness behind these small hats, okay, they want to see the small hats be obliterated, man. So Lawrence Wilkerson said, look, I destroyed everything in Israel, which we know that America, they gonna come in, China and Russia gonna come in eventually, But at the end of the day, it's just a sentiment that's out there, man. People want to see these small hats obliterated. Now, remember, he said that Iran could get rid of these small hats in about 48 hours, 96 hours. That's 2 to 4 days, man. Okay, we have to understand Iran been going light with these small hats. Okay, that's why I'm saying Western media pump these small hats up like they just, built like they trash. The IDF military is trash. The Iron Dome is trash. Iran been showing restraint because Iran wants to participate in this new global market, all right, that's being brought online. Okay, they don't want to spend all this money trying to rebuild from a war. They want to stay intact so they can, all right, they in their mind they want to flourish in this new global market that's coming. Okay, so they've been showing themselves, they've been showing restraint. Okay, it ain't because the small hats some great military force. No, the small hats is trash. Iran has been preparing to go to war with America. Okay, Iran will obliterate the small hats quick with no nuclear weapon. They will obliterate the small hats. Okay, they'll overwhelm their Iron Dome in the first hour, and after that, the small hats just be open season. They'll be sitting ducks, and all them hypersonics will just come through there for 2-3 days straight, and it'll be nothing left of Israel, of the infrastructure. Okay, so don't let Western media have you thinking that the idea of these big tough guys over there, they'll get obliterated. But Iran's been showing restraint. All right, because prophecy. You see, other things had to happen. You see, but he said that if he was a head of Iranian military power, that he would obliterate these small hats within 2 to 4 days, man. And tell America, like, look, if we got, we strapped and loaded, you can stand down. I know that's your man's, but we know according to prophecy that America, they gonna have to jump in. you know. So let's play a little more.
I wouldn't do it simultaneously. I know it would be more effective and more surprise, tactical and operational surprise, if they hit everything at once. But it would also detract from their ability to just wipe Israel out, because they'd have to devote some of their forces to the other targets. And it wouldn't give them any leverage against the United States. They would have considerable leverage if Israel were a smoking ruin, fait accompli. And they said to the United States, we don't want to have a fight with you. We've taken care of the enemy. The enemy was running rampant. It was killing Palestinians at a rate that was unfathomable. It was performing genocide. We did what the international court should have done. We did what the UN should have done. We did indeed what you should have done for you. Now, we don't want to fight with you over it. So let's stop. I mean, that's what I would do.
I believe that all of those.
Well, we're tired of these small hats, man. You know, we're tired of these niggas, man. You see? So, let's go here. Brother can post that too, Isaiah 46, verses 9 and 10. You know, let me get this one the brother got. But yeah, that Isaiah chapter 46, verses 9 and 10. This is from the brother GMSDC, Tazadagda. All right, Yerah. All right, 144K. It says Isaiah 21 and 2. It says a grievous vision, okay, is declared unto me. The treacherous dealeth treacherously, which is America, man. Babylon, and the spoilers. Okay, America. Go up, Elam, which is Iran. Besiege old Media, which is Russia. All the sign thereof have I made to cease. Yeah, so that spirit, you know, whining about what America is doing, well, that spirit is being depleted. And now it's just a spirit of getting active with these devils, man. You know, and I can't wait to see. I hope these small heads go with they move. I can't wait till they go with they move, because they gotta go with it, man. You know, this hey, this is my favorite part of prophecy, man. Okay, this action. You see? So we're gonna see with these small hats, all right, how long it's gonna take them to conjure up, okay, the courage, all right, to strike Iran again. Okay. And like I say, this time it can activate more players, you know, more nations in this brawl. All right. So we can end it here. The brothers got their foot with the water. All right, so this is it's Isaiah 46 and 9 by the brother Heart of David. It says, remembering the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me, declaring, all right, the end from the beginning, okay, and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure, okay, and the Lord is doing his pleasure in the earth, okay, and it's his pleasure, okay, for these nations to be at war with each other. You know, we're setting the stage for the return of his son, Yahweh Shai, to come and conquer all of them. Okay. So that's the point, you know, for this morning, you know, Lord will, you brothers. All right. And you sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutation to the whole Shalom.